Okay, so the next test that we're going to talk about today is called Riken. So it's the Science and Math Certification, and um, it's mostly the sciences. It's got the levels, they call them Q, just like with most of these other certifications, except it's set up a bit differently than usual. Let's take a look here. So the levels that exist are 1, pre-1, 2, pre-2, and this is most of the exams have these, and as usual, 1 is the highest, and then it goes 3, pre-3, you don't usually have a pre-3, 4, pre-4, 5, pre-5, and then 6, 7, 8, pre-8, and then 9, 10, 11. But my understanding is that the pre-levels in all of these tests, they simply indicate having achieved a high score on the test, but not high enough to pass the particular level. So the pre-tests don't exactly, or the pre-levels don't exactly, they're not their own individual things like they are with most of these other tests. And here we have, let's take a look. We have the basic setup of what's going on. So just to add a bit more confusion, once you get to the level 2, it actually separates into 4 different categories. And those are physics, chemistry, biology, and geology. So that's 4 different tests, I believe. And so within the setup that they have here, they consider the level 1 and level 2 to be a high school level. Like level 1 would be high school graduate, level 2 would be sometime during high school, level 3 would be the end of middle school, and level 5 would be the start of middle school. Level 6 would be the end of elementary, and level 8 would be grade 4 of elementary. And then the levels below there, 9, 10, 11. 11 would be elementary grade 1, the stuff that you would hopefully learn about science in the first grade of elementary. But the way the tests are set up, so we're going to get even more confused here. So they have step and score. So step and score, what's the difference here? So step, again, we haven't taken these tests yet, so I might get something wrong about how the setup actually works. But step is probably the same as most tests, where you go in, you take that particular test, and if you get a high enough grade, you get the certification. And as I mentioned earlier, on most of these, they have a pre-level for like 5 and up, I think, and 8 as well, which we'll explain in a moment. So step is that, except step only begins at level, okay, I'm not actually sure. It's probably written down somewhere here. At level 5, I think. It might be, oh no, level 8. Okay, they have it for level 8. But there's no level 9, 10, 11 for step. So, what do you do if you can't take the test directly? Well, there's score, and they have these different scores. They have score 30, 40, 60. They don't have a number for this one. I don't know what that is. And score 100. So score 100 is basically a long test. You take, it's like 2 hours, I guess, and you try and get the highest score you can, and based on the score that you achieve, you will be given a certification for within the whatever score you got. So it's probably easier to understand with the lower scores. So the score 30 which is for grades 1, 2, and 3 elementary school kids. If you get, it should be, I actually have it on a book that I'll show in a moment here. So it's total 300 points. How the points are actually given, I'm not 100% sure, but there's 30 questions, 300 points. So maybe there's like half points or something for questions. And so one question is 10 points, right? If you get the full thing. And if you get 70 or more, so I think this is pretty generous, especially compared to most of the tests that we've talked about so far. On the score 30, this would qualify you for having knowledge of a first grade, completed the first grade of elementary school in science, and a score of 150. So this is still only 50% on the test. Would get you the level 10, so second grade science knowledge, and a score of 200. Again, this is still actually lower than I'd say most tests. Would get you the level 9, which is knowledge of all the stuff that you learn in grade 3 science. And then if you have, I don't know if it's written here, but I'm pretty sure it was 280 out of 300 or more. So if you have 280 or more on the test, you would be given the pre-level 8. And I think this is the only time that you could get the pre-level 8. So all the other pre-levels, especially with the steps anyway, would generally be you didn't get a high enough score, but with the pre-level 8 here would be you got the best possible score. So you're getting the pre-8, which, is a better grade than the 9, 10, and 11. So that is the basics of how it is set up. So let's actually take a look. Okay, so now let's take a look at the book here. So Riken Science and Math Certification. It's probably supposed to be certification, but it's not an English certification, so we'll let that slide. And we have some information inside as well. It looks like you can take most of these online anyway. I think at the higher levels, there's some things that you can not do online, but I'm not sure. Again, we haven't taken any of these yet. Then they have some example questions from like level 3 and level 2. The level 2 one's all in English here for some reason. You can see, so some chemical compounds and at what heat dehydrates from 1 molecule of alcohol, it says. So once you get to the higher levels, you do need to know, I guess, a lot of chemistry and everything. And let's see, so I have a example test book and then the main study book here. And here on the front it says the scores I was telling you about, and the level 11, 9, 11, 10, 9, 11 being grade 1 when you finish grade 1 elementary school, 9 being when you finish grade 3 elementary school. Let's just take a quick look, not go too deep into it. So the score 30, as I mentioned. So we have some questions about water and ice, airplanes and vehicles, weather, living creatures and vegetation. We have time and it's the moon. Then we have magnets, and what do we have over here? Wind. So let's take a look at wind and just see what kind of questions they're giving us here, because these questions don't look too difficult anyway. So they're asking what how would you say it, the hot and cold air around the earth, what would you call it? And then you just something like temperature, I guess, which is similar word here. So pretty easy if you, I guess, can read the kanji. Again, we have to look at all of these questions from the point of a low-grade elementary school student and consider that. So which one of the following has no relation to the flow of air and wind? So multiple choice, and that would be like a water wheel. So that's probably pretty easy, I think. Again, as long as you can read these. And I was interested in, for the online version anyway, if you have a young child taking it, can the parent read the questions out? So I actually emailed them about this, and they said, like, as long as you don't assist them with the actual answers in any way, reading out the question or any of the kanji or anything, that is not a problem for the online version. So, good news. Next question here. So how does a dandelion spread its seeds, it looks like? And this one, unlike the other questions, this one is not multiple choice. I guess you have to type it in or something. Huh. I wonder how that works on the online version, because I guess the parent could type for the child if the child hasn't learned to type yet. We'll see. I'm not sure if they'd all be multiple choice not at this level. And then the last question here, using the following kanji, explain what this is. And you have to pick some kanji to explain it. So I guess that would be Furyoku, Hatsu Denki, or maybe just a Fusha? No. I guess there's lots of possible answers, but I would assume that it's the Furyoku Hatsu Denki in this case. Yeah, again, I don't know how they would be doing this online. If they have you select the kanji or type it out, or if they would be multiple choice. I'm not sure. But from these questions themselves, it doesn't actually seem that difficult for the levels. But then we have this book, which is also specifically for the score 30, which we talked about earlier as being grades 1, 2, and 3. So I've already gone through this book with my son once, but it is kind of hard for him. So the very first thing we have in here is the distance the sun and the earth, from the sun to the earth, and the temperature of the surface of the sun, and the average temperature of the earth. Apparently the average temperature of the earth is about 15 degrees Celsius, which is actually a lot colder than I expected. I guess over the course of the year, you take the average in all areas, and it might make sense if, I don't know if they're measuring from how they got that measurement, but I guess it makes sense. It seems cold though. So temperature, then we have just like how water affects the earth. So this is geology, and then about plants and other biology questions, more biology, how gathering rice and stuff. So the details in these, it actually gets quite detailed. See, we're still at, like, I think this one over here is like grade 1 of elementary school, and we're already getting pretty complicated, I think. And then let's just move on quickly so we don't spend too much time. So grade 2, we're talking about nitrogen molecules and stuff, viruses, I mean, these we actually saw a life-size model. Well, not life-size model, a model at the museum one time together, and I was showing him how the mitochondria. What do you say? Mitochondria. The mitochondria is put together. The museum. So again, I'm not going to go through everything here. Just go quickly, and let's see what the third graders are looking at the end here. So grade 3 prisms and weights, and look what we have at the end. Look at these calculations here we're getting. So this is at least according to this book, we're at grade 3 elementary school work. So we look at this here, and we have the Planck's equation here. So Planck's constant is this h equals 6.626 times 10 to the negative 34. So I don't know about everybody else, but I don't recall knowing this in elementary school at all, let alone grade 3 of elementary school. So please let me know in the comments if you learned about Planck's length concept and the quantum world and everything in grade 3, or if the Japanese education system is really pushing kids, or if this particular study book just expects to go over a lot of difficult information that may or may not appear on the test. Again, we haven't taken the test yet. I'm just going over the basic information of this because this is one that I think we will be taking in the near future. And, I think it's interesting to have the opportunity to take a science test like this. So I think we'll practice a few more of these questions, and maybe after he's finished his revenge match against the mathematics level 10, we might take this on before the next kanji test. I don't know. I'll look at the schedule, see what we're doing, and maybe try this one out. So anyway, let me know in the comments if you learned about Planck's constant in elementary school or not. And I mean, I'm going to be honest here. The first time I actually heard about Planck's concept was, I was already in my 30s, I think. So I did not learn it, or at least I don't remember learning about it in elementary school. So let me know if you did. And remember to like, subscribe, and wish us luck on these tests, and level up yourself too.